Gradient of a line, also known as the steepness of a line. It's possible and often easier to graph lines using a slope and a point as opposed to a table. Also, it's not difficult to write an equation for a line from finding the slope and a point from a graph. Let's first define slope or gradient, and then we can use that idea. The gradient or slope of a line is a number that describes both the direction and steepness of a line. The letter m is typically used as the variable for slope. The slope of a line can have four types of direction: positive, which is rising from left to right; negative, which is falling from left to right; zero, which is a horizontal line; and undefined, which is a vertical line. To measure the steepness of a line, we use the ratio of rise over run. The rise is the change in the value of the y-coordinate, shown here, while the run is the change in the x-coordinate, shown there. The symbol for change is the Greek letter delta, which just means change in. So the slope is equal to the change in y divided by the change in x, rise over run. And so you can see that we can take two coordinates, like this point here and this point here, take y2 minus y1 here, divided by x2 minus x1, shown here. All right, in this case, we pick 2 points on the line. Here, any 2 points would work, 2, 4, and 8, 11. The rise is from 4 to 11. So we're going up 7 units, and then we run over from 2 to 8. So the run is 6. Therefore, the slope is rise over run, 7 over 6. Any points on the line can be used to calculate its gradient, since the gradient of a line is the same everywhere. The values of delta y and delta x may be different for other points, but their ratio will be the same. You can check that with the red and green triangles shown here. Slope is also referred to as a constant rate of change. Here is an application of slope. A road might rise 1 foot for every 10 feet of horizontal distance. The ratio 1/10, which is also called slope, is a measure of the steepness of the hill. Engineers call this use of slope grade and measure the grade with percentages. The grade of this road is 10%. Horizontal and vertical lines have special slopes. A horizontal line has a slope of 0, and a vertical line has an undefined slope. Let's see what makes these slopes special. 2 points on the horizontal line are 0, 4 and 3, 4. If we look at the graph, the change in y is 0, and the run, the change in x, is 3. Right? The rise is 0, run is 3. So slope would be rise over run. 0 over 3 is 0. The vertical line here, we have 2 points, 7, 0 and 7, 2. If we look at the graph, the rise, the delta y, is 2, but the run, change in x, is 0. So therefore, the slope would be rise over run 2 over 0, which is undefined because you can't divide by 0. Let's try an example that doesn't have a graph. Calculate the slope of the line that passes through 2 points, negative 5, 4 and 5, 0. First, identify the first point as x1, y1, and the second point as x2, y2. Second, substitute your numbers into the slope formula for their assigned variables. Now let's simplify. So y2 was 0, y1 was 4, x2 was 5, x1 was negative 5, put that in parentheses. 0 minus 4 is negative 4, 5 plus 5, the negative signs cancel, gives us 10, which gives us negative 2 over 5. The slope formula can be used to find the constant rate of change in a real-world problem. When traveling on the highway, drivers will set the cruise control and travel at a constant speed. This means that the distance traveled is a constant increase. The graph at the right represents such a trip. The car passed mile marker 60 at 1 hour and mile marker 180 at 3 hours. Find the slope of the line and what it represents. The slope would be rise over run, so the y-coordinates are 180 minus 60. The run is in time, that's 3 minus 1. So that's 120 miles over 2 hours, which simplifies to 60 miles an hour. The slope of the line is 60, and the rate of change of the car is 60 miles per hour. The slope of a distance time graph is speed. If a car passes mile marker 100 in 2 hours and mile marker 200 in 4 hours, then how many miles per hour is the car traveling? Use the information to write ordered pairs 2, 100 and 4, 200. All right, so the slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is x1, y1, and x2, y2. So y2 minus y1 is 200 minus 100, and that's in miles. X2 minus x1 is 4 minus 2, and that is in hours. So this is 200 minus 100 is 100 over 2. The answer is 50 miles per hour.